Today is our first episode of Pixel Power Hour. We have with us Brian and Lindsey. I'll just let them on in and then I'll give a brief introduction. Hello.
Hello. Hey.
Okay, amazing. So now I'll just introduce these infamous people. So Brian and Lindsey, I'm so glad to be actually doing the first Pixel Power Hour episode with them because these are the people. If you ever need to learn branding or literally anything, it should be them.
Amazing.
So they have been in the photography industry since about 18 years. And they started with not just photographing weddings, but portrait session, branding session. And that's how they transitioned into a branding coach. And that is the reason why they're here, because Brian and Lindsey, when I spoke to them, they're one of those people who want to share the information, who want to share the value with other people. And that's what we wanted to do too. So here we are. Now I'll let them take over, do a bit of an introduction, and then we can move forward.
Well, first off, thank you so much for having us as
Exactly.
the first guest. Like honestly, I'm like really humbled. Like I'm like really humbled because I'm like, man, I mean we have our I think we dip our toes in so many different worlds, and we feel like this is an ocean.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of honored and humbled to be in this crazy awesome family.
Yeah.
To be sharing what we love, and you know, just from our conversations we've had, you guys have the same values as us, and we're just so glad to be here.
Yeah.
So.
Amazing. Yep, that's great. So everybody is tuning in. Just pop on, say hi, let us know where you're tuning in from. Hi Sean, hi Pratyush and Ayush. So I believe they can hear us, so we can move ahead.
Yeah.
So we're good.
We're all
Awesome.
good. Okay. So first and foremost, like I do have tons of questions to ask, and then as soon as people keep on joining in, they'll have tons of other questions, I believe. But the first question would actually be, why are we actually here? And why is branding actually a thing, and why are you guys doing what you're doing? So that would be my first and foremost question. So if you could help me answer that.
Well, you know, I think what's really unique, I think, about my perspective and Lindsey is that we just kind of have a little bit different. But I think that's what makes this even more unique. But for me, I think branding is like having a license. It's like having an ID. It has all the essential stuff on it. You know, if something were to happen, you get in an accident or whatever, that's how they identify you.
Yeah.
And I feel like your business is your ID. Your branding is your ID. When you're missing the essentials on your ID, how are they going to find out who you are? How are they going to contact you? How are they going to know what you do?
Yeah.
And we feel like because we've taken our branding important and it's valuable, we started putting it out into the world how people need to know us, what people are supposed to know about us, but also like taking the time to really to evaluate our message.
Yeah.
But also, you know,
I mean, it's one of those things where when we first got started, like you could tell that Brian had taken a photo better than anybody else. Like he just has this candid way of being able to capture people the way that they authentically are. You could look at any photo and be able to tell his differently than anything else.
Yeah.
And so that was how we branded ourselves for so long. It's just the genuine emotion, the genuine like fun that people were having during our photo shoots, during our weddings and our engagement sessions and whatever portrait sessions that we did and everything. But then in 2010 or 2015, we moved down here to Atlanta, and we went from just being Brian Cowen Photography to Brian plus Lindsey Photography, because we realized how much more like I was actually a part of it and everything like that. And so we started thinking like, what are the things that make us us? When people, besides the fact that like we take really cool photos and whatever, like what are things that distinguish us? And like it's kind of funny because it was like Brian's beard and my glasses. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of like put those into the logo, and we're like, okay, and this is Brian and Lindsey, because everybody would always talk about, yeah, Brian and Lindsey were doing my photos. Brian and Lindsey were doing this, and so they would always say, they wouldn't just say Brian, they would always include me in it. So we're like, let's just make that as part of our branding.
We've been on this insane journey of just wanting to be authentically branded.
Exactly.
Where we just want
Like,
people to
this is
know
who
who
we
we
are.
are very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, no matter where you started, when you started, or who you're under when you're learning these
the
things,
beard of goals.
it's really understanding what your voice is in what you put out to the world.
Yeah.
And a lot of us we kind of hide behind the camera, we hide behind our website, we hide behind this, we hide behind that. And the thing is, we decided, hey, we're just going to open the doors to that. Because branding is about being revealing. Branding is about being honest. And it's about that personal connection that we realized that we need to start doing. Even when we branded ourselves Brian plus Lindsey, that was the initial jump into that. We're like, we need to show people who we are.
Exactly.
And I think the easier the path is to what you want them to know about you, the easier they're going to fall in love with you.
Makes sense.
So
Makes sense. So I also sort of have a follow-up question to that. I know you guys recently launched your course finally, which guys have been working on. So congratulations to that as well.
yes.
But I do know that previously as well, you had a few of your students,
Mhm.
who you were working with, and they actually saw a difference, booked more clients, and just became better at what they were doing, just being more
Sure.
transparent and all of following whatever things you said. So do you have a transformational story of you, how you move from point A to point B just because you started doing these particular things, or maybe a story of your students, of your clients, anything as such?
Yeah, I think Robin is actually
Sure.
probably our
100%,
best
yeah.
example
Oh, yeah.
of somebody that went from not being able to show up at all to like showing up in her full power.
She wouldn't show up on screen.
Yeah.
And,
So like the
yeah.
first month that we worked with her, she
Yeah.
would just show up and it would be her logo. And then eventually she kind of turned on her camera, but it was still mostly her logo in the background. And then she would like as her like fake background, virtual background,
Sure.
and then she would like pop in every once in a while and whatever. And like by the
Yeah.
end of our time of working with her, after like 3 months, she was like standing in her power. She had all of her things. So, like
Yeah.
she was just like, yeah. But like legitimately, she had built her whole business off of just like
Just her voice.
yeah,
Just
her voice and like her hands. So she would be showing like she had sold crystals basically is what she did. And so she just had her voice over and her hands and nothing else. She was terrified to show her
Yep.
face. And we're like, Robin, you're amazing. No, you need to do this. Like,
Yep.
let's show up on camera.
Yep.
And we didn't judge her. We didn't do anything. We were
Yep.
just there. And then eventually, like, it just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And now she's just like, no, this is who I am. This is what I am.
Yep.
Like, I mean, even the simplest thing of she was like, we were helping her go through her website and she's like, I like it, but all the coaches that I worked with before told me that I can't have black as my background because black doesn't show up and whatever. And I'm like, do you like black? Like, I was actually like, why isn't there more black in here? I know that that's part of your brand colors. I know that that's what you want. Like the black and the fuchsia are like two of our main colors. And I'm like, why aren't you showing up in that way? And she's like, I can do that. I can really do that. I'm like, yes, please do that. We want this to be you. And like, you could just see a light bulb like turn on in her mind. And she was like, whoa, okay. So I can be me. I can be like 100% me. I can show up and show all the quirky things that I am because she is the quirkiest person we've ever met,
Like through our relationship with her, we realized the power behind authentic branding is giving yourself permission to show up.
Mm-hmm.
When you show up in your brand, you show up in your passion, you make an impact that you couldn't any other way.
Mm-hmm.
And it all starts with you believing in yourself and being like, I am worthy and I do deserve good things.
Exactly.
That's what branding is for me. It's not about attracting all 1,000 clients. It's about attracting the right clients that actually want you for you. They don't just want you just to be cool. They want you because they see themselves becoming who they need to be.
Exactly.
That's the permission part that we love teaching.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I believe too, it's not just a matter of putting certain stories on Instagram and just putting up a certain messaging on a website. It's actually like a personal growth story and how you see a change in yourself, while you go from one place to another, because like you said, because you start believing in yourself, maybe that's actually which brings the major transformation. So yes.
Clients love journeys. They love a journey that they see themselves going on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when you invite them on, you're not actually inviting them on your own. You're inviting them into their own. So it's like a 2-lane highway. You're both going the same direction. When people find out what their lane is, especially in their branding, they're way more powerful. They're way more confident. And that's what we believe businesses should be. Find their lane, find their brand.
Yeah. Exactly.
Definitely. And if it's like, a growth story, your audience actually believes that, they're growing with you because you're raw and real enough to actually show it to them. And there's nothing better than including other people in your story, in your growth, in your development, and actually making them feel a part of it. So
that's it.
I think that's what the main agenda of our live is today, how to actually do that, how to actually take the first few steps with that.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't actually waste any more time further, and I would dive in right into the questions. So just to give you a bit of an idea about the flow, I'll just be asking you lots of questions, which different people. A lot of them, almost all of them, are photographers in the industry who keep on facing such challenges because a lot of them are starting out, and some of them have been in the industry since quite some time, but maybe are looking for a pivot or something that how they can, make themselves stand out better other than their competitors or something else. So I do have about questions for you guys, where you can actually cover all those things of what your experience lies in. Plus, as I revealed it to Brian and Lindsey before, we actually have a game in the middle, which is Pixel Pass Showdown, where we'll actually be shown some questions, and if they lose, there's actually a dare that they need to do. So we're not letting you off the hook that easy. So we just start with the questions now, and then there'll be a game in the middle, and that's how we'll go. Of
Yeah.
course, if anybody who comes up with any questions, anything, just keep on pouring that down, and we'll help you answer that too. Okay.
Love it. I love it.
Perfect.
So,
Sure.
like, this is actually my first question. People do ask that how can I create a brand that stands out from my competitors? There are people who have been in the industry since quite some time, but they might be in a small town and they're not able to actually make their brand stand out like it was before. So, the question would be how they can actually do that and make themselves stand out from the competitors. That would be my first question.
Like for me personally, it started with me getting to know myself, because it's like you can get a logo made, you can get a website made. Those are all super important. But to me, it's about learning your story and becoming comfortable with sharing it. That is to me how you elevate and start building your brand that stands out, because your story is not someone else's story.
Exactly.
It's just not. No matter what angle you look at it, no matter how much you dissect it, and you're like, well, it's not unique. No, it's unique to you because you lived it.
Right.
And to me, that is the start. Is that you becoming comfortable with the things that taught you about life, that makes you love what you love. That to me is how you start it.
Yeah. I mean, my thought is honestly be you and be true to you.
That's it.
Don't try to like compare yourself. Stop the comparison game, honestly, more than anything else. And just find out who you are as a photographer. Find out who you are as a brand. What are the things that are unique to you? And just be yourself. 100%. Like, there is a style that you do. There is a way that you come across, and nobody else has that. And that's how you're going to stand out, is by being yourself and honestly showing up authentically. Like that, which is the reason why we're so passionate about that.
To me, you may be thinking, well, I've said this before, no one's connected, or I put it out there and it didn't go anywhere. Well, the thing is, you can always find something new in something that is old. I believe there's always valuable things in that. It's just almost like a treasure hunt. Your business, your passion, your vision, whatever things you put out, there's a treasure in that. And you sometimes need to go do some digging in the areas that you haven't dug, where you'll find what makes you unique. And the thing is, I feel like the crumb trail of things that will help you find that is look at the things that you do daily. Exactly. What do you wear? What do you buy? What do you say? What are the conversations you have? There's so much wrapped up in your daily life that differentiates you from everything else that everybody else is doing. And it's taking the time to learn that is, to me, is the identity foundation of getting out there and standing out. Like cookie cutter doesn't work. It makes you look like everybody else. Like just you stand out when you start believing in who you are, and that you have to make a choice to do that.
Exactly.
Yep. So I do have like a follow-up question to that. I know finding your true identity or finding your style is not something that just comes with a one-step thing that, oh, maybe I like coffee, that's just my style. It's not just that, of course. There's so many things, there's so many layers involved in it. But if there was a tip, or if there was like a starting step to be given by you, what would it actually be? Like, where do I actually start if I need to find my style to actually proceed on that lane?
I would say just start looking at the things that you enjoy.
Sure.
Like you were saying, like coffee is one of those things. You could totally have a coffee or water or whatever, think about the colors that you are most attracted to. So like mine is teal, Brian's is orange. So we put that into almost everything that we do. Like we always have some sort of teal and orange and everything like that. And then just start doing genuine storytelling. Put yourself in front of the camera as much as you're behind the camera. Like, so you're taking photos, but you're also forward facing. You're also showing up on your social media, on your website, where you're just like, okay, this is who I am.
Sure.
And you might be really nervous at first, and you might be like, okay, so like that's great for Brian and Lindsey because they're all like super bubbly and whatever. I actually personally get terrified to like go live and to do all these things. So that's why Brian does it more often than I do. But at the same time, like
for
you just have to do it.
For me, this answer is different for everyone that's being asked. And it is genuinely a preference thing. And I decided to go with my personality. My personality, I believe, is the most powerful part of me. It exudes my energy, it exudes my creativity. But the thing is, for so long, I felt like I was carrying around this emotional compass. And I was just being led to every direction. And I was being led astray because my emotions were telling me all these things that I thought I was good at, or I thought I was supposed to be. but really my personality is the anchor. My personality is what holds me in place. And the thing is, I surround myself with like-minded people. I surround myself with people that are passionate about what I'm passionate about, or also challenge me. And the thing is, like, you are worthy of being known and seen. And the thing is, to me, that's where the brand starts, is that you have to take a break from what everybody else is doing in order to find what you are. Like, I think the success in the starting of your branding is literally stepping out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is your comfort zone is not the answer to your branding. Your comfort zone is not the answer to your business being successful. It's actually your non-comfort zone that is the answer to all of that. That's really where you need to start. Go. If it doesn't make you nervous, then don't do it. You need to be nervous when you're doing something, because then you know you're doing it right.
Okay, so I'm definitely doing the live right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I just want to elaborate on a second, is that to me, it's like that is like a much missed thing in building a business and building a brand, is that we think it has to be comfortable. We think it has to, like, say if everyone's wearing blue shirts at a party, you gotta wear a blue shirt because you fit in, because you're like, well, I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to stand out, I'm trying to be different, or I'm trying to be prideful, whatever it is. But it's like, for me, it's like, I have found things that give me peace and comfort. And I realize those ingredients of what that is in everything that I do. And you need to find that thread of joy in what you do. And that thread will lead to other things that will increase your out of comfort zone feeling. Because you need to be out of your comfort zone as much as possible.
I mean, it's one of those things where he was talking about, like, trying to fit in and trying to do everything the right way and all this kind of stuff. I lived the first half of my life where everything was exactly like, you had to do everything perfect. If you didn't, like, it's one of those things where, like, I would, as a teenager, as teenagers do, I would get in a fight with my parents, and like yell at them on the way to church. And so I'd have to sit there and I'd have to, like, okay, touch up my makeup. All right. Hi, how's it going? Great. Like, I had to have this, like, perfect persona that I had to show people. And when I grew up, and like when I, like, entered into adulthood, entered into, like, my marriage with Brian and whatever, and us starting our photography business, I decided that I was done pretending. I was done trying to be perfect. I was done trying to do all these things that everybody said that I had to do. And I was like, no, I'm just going to be myself. This is who I am. Just take it or leave it. I'm not the skinniest person, and that's okay. I'm not the most eloquent person sometimes, and that's okay. Like, I'm just me. And Brian is just him. And, like, we're just genuinely.
We're not, I believe that we're not trend followers. And I realize if that was a creek or a river or whatever you guys would call that, and wherever you're at, a stream, we're not stream followers. I think that we like to find the well worn out, undiscovered trail that people think are done or they don't think is interesting. And I like finding value in those things. I feel like your branding is usually going to be in value that people don't find value in, but only you find. That is, to me, is what branding is. It's you valuing something that no one else really values.
Makes sense. So this is like your story, and you even mentioned storytelling. My question here would be that how can I actually use storytelling to at least target, not attract, I would say, but at least target my ideal clients. Actually that would be my question, that how can I actually use branding, or as you say, storytelling, to connect with my target audience? Like, there would be certain parts that I need to maybe show online, and there would be certain things that I do not need to. So what exactly is the thing here that I need to start with?
So something, when I was building my course, Showing Up Authentically, it was literally kind of on accident, because I became frustrated. I became discouraged because I feel like I wasn't connecting to anybody in the way that I wanted to. And what I started doing was I started creating posts that were personality driven, that would attract people into my world. And the thing is, that is, to me, how I started creating a social following. Is that I started making posts, and the thing is, these posts aren't always professional. Sometimes they're silly, sometimes they're out there, sometimes they're just they're fake based, whatever it is. But I'm like, my social media following is my couch. Come sit on my couch. Come hang out with me. A lot of us have been taught, only share that you sell this. Only share that you're doing that. And I feel like that's a missed opportunity, because it's just like, Lindsay and I have been married for 18 years. If I only showed her part of my life, she would not fully love me. So if you want someone to fully love your brand and fully love you, you have to show them as much as you feel comfortable with. And to me, it's just creating posts and creating things that actually pull people in, but filter people out.
So one of the things that we've done is, like you were saying, he will use those posts to start a story, start a dialogue, start a conversation. And then, like, and then or he'll go live.
Yep.
Like he's got this thing where he'll go live, and he'll set up his phone in the windowsill of our studio here, and then he'll just open it up and be like, "Hello," whatever. And so then he'll just tell a story and attract people that way. But then like it goes beyond just that. It goes beyond just showing up and like going live or telling stories or making these posts. But it actually goes into the inbox of like he will actually anybody that comments on his post, he'll actually message, be like, "Hey, thank you so much for doing this post. That's how we met, Ayush. Like thank you so much for commenting. That's so cool. Like this is what I think about this, and that kind of thing." And it's that personal connection after the storytelling is how you really attract people.
And the thing is, to me, it's just like there's so many people on Facebook that are just posting all these different things, and I'm like, I'm just posting my thoughts. To me, that's how you start engagement on Facebook, is that you post things that you actually are connected to, that actually have a purpose, but also connect whoever's looking at it to your passion.
Yeah.
And I'll just find people where I'm like, I love that story, and I'll love it, and I'll put an emoji, because I'm looking for people that think and act like me. And the thing is, there's diehard people that are attracted to all, like the Apple or Coca-Cola, whatever it is, because there's something in that branding that feels like them.
Yeah.
And it's like branding should almost have two seats. One seat for you driving it, and a second seat for you to bring your clients with you. That's what branding should really be done. And the front seat is you, the back seat's your personality. People want to go on a ride with you when you pitch it like that.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's interesting. And I have actually seen Brian do that. I believe we were just about to message each other at the same time. And that's actually
we both posted the photo of us looking at the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually very interesting. And that's maybe Brian's style of actually messaging those people who comment on his posts and interact with them. Maybe someone else's style could actually be completely different. It could actually just be maybe posting stories, something that's that's absolutely being you and being different, and it's not just following the crowd where it goes.
Exactly.
It's about creating interaction, however you do it. If you just do Facebook stories, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, it's about creating an interaction around your brand. Your brand is what you want people to know about, but then you're attracting them to hang out with you.
Yeah.
And however that's done, like I call it like comment parties. I like to post stuff and then have a comment party inside of the post.
Yeah.
And that's how you show up on Facebook. That's how people get to know who you are. That's how people start remembering who you are. Because the more you post and like and all that stuff, Facebook will show that person your profile way more.
Yep.
So that's why I do it that way. Because Facebook's food is your post.
Yeah.
Facebook food, its dessert, is the comments. So the more that you do that, the more interaction you get.
Yep.
Awesome. So it is almost halftime, which is time to play the game. Are you guys ready? Are people in the audience ready? Just drop in a yes, and I'll plug it in. Just give me a second.
I'm excited. I've been waiting all day for this.
I know, like
I've been working out all morning, getting ready for this.
I mean, we've been up for 5 hours.
I know.
So whatever. It's a power showdown.
I mean, you guys are usually up for 5 a.m. So I don't know how you guys do it, but amazing. Okay, just drop in a yes or a yay in the audience if you guys are ready for the game, and I would love actually if you guys can participate in too. Okay, so I'll just basically let you know what Pixel Bar Showdown is. I'll be showing you 2 pictures. One is actually edited by the photographer himself manually, and one is actually edited by our AI, which is FP Edits. So this is actually a debut for FP Edits as well. While I speak, I do realize that we haven't really shown our results to anybody. So yeah, that was actually the first before and after editing style as well. I'll be showing you 2 pictures. One is edited by the photographer and the other is edited by FilterPixel in the same style of the photographer. And if you're able to guess which one is edited by AI and which one is edited manually, you get a point. If you're not able to, FilterPixel or I get a point. Okay, so I'll show the pictures. Just let me know left or right which one do you think is edited by AI. Okay, should we start?
Yes, let's start. Let's do it.
Okay. There you go.
They look almost identical.
No, I know.
The editing style.
While I was actually putting it all together, there was 10 times I got confused that which one's which. So I had to literally rename them and put it all together. So yeah, it's a challenge. I know.
I think the left one is Pixel Perfect.
Yeah, FilterPixel.
Oh, sorry.
Filter edit.
Okay.
Pixel edit. Whatever. What is it called again?
Filter Pixel.
It's called FilterPixel. And the editing we calling FP edits. And
FPS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Okay.
People in the comments are saying that right is AI, and you guys are saying left is edited by us, right?
And I could tell you why.
Yeah.
My assumption that it's because.
Okay. So we'll go with Brian and Lindsey's choice first, and you guys say left is AI. We have the results. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. All right, manually edit. Brian was right. The manually edited is left, and the right one is edited by FilterPixel. Why? Is that not what you meant?
Oh,
I think what I remember is you guys said that left is edited by FilterPixel.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Okay, I was thinking he was saying I was gonna go by, like the left one was manually edited, and the main reason why you know is because the colors in her hair. Like it's a little bit darker, a little bit more saturated and everything.
I
like
went
that.
by the cropping because there's more of her elbow cut on the right,
Oh.
and there's less of an elbow cut on the left.
Okay, yeah. Don't go by cropping for now. For the next one, just go by the editing and all of that, and not really the cropping. Okay. Actually, a lot of people in the audience were right, so I'll give that point to them because a lot of people actually said right. So wow. And yeah, okay. So guys, 1 point to me, 0 to you.
Okay.
We'll move on to the next one. Okay, again a close call.
All right. I'm gonna say probably
It's this one.
if the right is AI.
I think so.
I know. I think so too.
Right.
Again, right is AI, left is manually, and it's mainly because again of how sharp and like the saturation and the deepness of color in the olives. As funny as that sounds, like in the way that the even the background is a little bit more like sharpened and stuff like that. So
makes sense. I'll just put it up. To be very honest, I have completely forgotten because I'm looking at it for the first time.
Like they're saying left is FP edits. Who knows? Maybe it
put it up,
maybe
like,
FilterPixel actually like ended up sharpening everything a little bit more with the AI.
Okay, so which one did you guys say? I'm so sorry. You said right one is AI, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, let's check.
Oh.
Dang it, we got it wrong again.
and Sean is right again, and even Juan's right again. Oh my god, how are you guys doing it? Because even I can't literally identify which one's which.
Yeah.
These guys know. These guys know something I don't.
Yeah, right?
I'm curious and what they're using.
I need to use the FP edits more. I was like I have it set up, or I have a gallery set up, and I'm going to use it, but I haven't used it yet. So this is all the more motivation to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Like, this is actually very good. I'm proud of the team right now.
Yes.
Okay, the next one.
I need to go against my better judgment.
Okay.
Like,
What are you gonna say?
I'm looking at it from a cropping aspect.
No, don't look at it from a
Cropping aspect.
Look at the way that it's edited, the colors, the saturation, that kind of thing. I know this is really tough.
Yeah.
Thank
God I'm not on the other side. I would have lost.
Let's say right is the real one and left is AI.
Okay, left is AI. I believe you might be right in this one.
Okay.
There you are.
Got it.
Yes.
First point secured.
Yay.
And I think it's mainly because of the shadows on his face. Like I think the person who manually edited it realized that the shadow like next to his eye was just slightly too dark, and so I think they brought out the shadow in his eye. So I'm the editor. So Brian takes the photos, and then I'm the one that edits. So that's kind of why.
That's it.
That's why I notice all of the little tiny details.
I see. But are you seeing how close it is? Like,
It really is.
Person who edited manually, I don't know how many hours they spent on it, and this is done.
Yeah.
And
much more quickly. Okay, Sean says he didn't get to answer. So this is the last one. I'll wait a bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, you've got your first point. Okay, here's the last one.
All right. So I am gonna go.
Right one.
Right is manually edited, or is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
And left is AI. And the main thing that I'm noticing in the left one is like that the background is a little bit sharper, like almost like AI went in there and like, oh, it needs to be a little bit sharper. And the photographer that manually edited it was like, no, that's bokeh and it's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to go for.
Yeah.
Okay. So left is AI, right?
Yeah, left is AI.
Okay, we have the results.
Wow. Okay. We're wrong again.
Right.
Wait,
to be honest, I was scared for a minute that you guys had like that. This is a tie, but
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
We had actually. This was the last one, and clearly you guys won Pixel 3.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay. I believe Sean and Juan here got a lot of them right. I'll definitely get some goodies for you all, but I do have a dare for you guys, which Ayush came up with. So credits to him. Okay, so the dare is because you lost, we want you to write it on a piece of a paper or a board that I lost FilterPixel edits challenge and post a story with it.
Okay, we can do that for sure.
I think seeing is he is FilterPixel. He is the editing. That's just anyway.
Yeah, it's all good.
He's the computer. Anyway.
Yes. No, I will do that for sure. Do you want us to do it right now, or
no, you can do it after the live.
We'll do it after the
live. Go back to asking you more questions.
Yes,
and get back the experts to work. Okay. So while we were talking about storytelling and how can you stand out from the competitors, just wrapping it up, and I wanted to know that because there's so many evolving trends coming in the market, like right now we just saw FilterPixel edits, some AI is doing lots of wonders in the market, and there's so many new things coming in the photography industry as well. In terms of when it comes to branding and storytelling, would you have any tip which you would like to give to people that how can they stay relevant to current trends?
Yeah.
So yeah,
like for me, that's kind of a little bit of a difficult answer, because again, like Lindsay and I are a little bit culture opposite of what we think is popular. Like it's funny, I'll be on TikTok and I'll find something cool, and then all of a sudden I'll see everybody else doing it, and I didn't realize there was a trend going on until I found that thing. And I think it's like I do pay attention to what is going on out there, but I'm more about like how can I make it original.
Yeah.
I guess I'm always thinking about original content. Like for me, when I'm posting and such, I'm not pre-scripting these things. Yeah. I'm actually just coming up in the moment and I post. So it's like, to me, it's like the more original it is, the better. And I think that's what stands out in a very saturated environment where everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah. So that's the thing about trends is it's almost like kind of keeping up and like doing the same thing that everybody else is. And that's the opposite of what we do. At the same time though, like showing up on the relevant platforms is definitely important and everything like that. That's one of the things that like we try as hard as we can to show up on TikTok, like whatever, you know what I mean? But like that isn't something that we've been the best at. But we're just us more than anything else. And like the thing about it is the other thing about trends is we've been photographers long enough to where we have seen all of the trends. Yeah. We have seen where selective color, when we first got started, selective color was like the trendiest and most amazing thing ever, to where basically the whole picture would be black and white, and then the bouquet would be color, or you would have all of these things where like the bride would be in color, but then this would be, or whatever, and like those things just date you, honestly. When you're following trends, you end up dating yourself, or you end up putting yourself into.
That's the problem with being trendy, is that it wears itself out really quickly, and you look like everybody else that's doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the more original your content is, I think the more organic your reach is going to be.
Yeah.
Is that you want to stand out. So if you are using all these viral TikTok music and you're sharing all these viral memes, that's great.
It is. It's good.
But you need to create your own original content that relates to where you're at in life. Like that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that doesn't happen overnight. That takes time to understand what that is.
So that's what I would say is like, be true to yourself, be true to who you are, and like do the trends. So what we do is we will post on all the different platforms. You know what I'm saying? So we'll use the same basic content and we'll repurpose it over and over again to what works best for each platform. That is something that I'll say. So definitely make sure that you're relevant
And I want to say,
but just don't worry about all of the different random trendy things. Like, it's good, but be you.
We you know, a couple months ago, we hired a social media manager, and awesome worker. She did a lot of amazing things. She gave us an agenda, and I could not get behind all of her ideas.
He was having a hard time following a schedule or following a calendar.
It wasn't the schedule. It was the content that I was being asked to make, because that wasn't me. I didn't have a genuine story that I could tell using that content. And I feel like we pigeonhole ourselves. We force ourselves in this place. Like, if we're not saying this, we're not going to stand out. And I think about all the, we all have heroes, right? We all have innovators that we look up to. And there's something about what they've done that they continue to push into and explore and develop and expand. And it's something about themselves, something about who they are that they put out into the world. And that is more important to me to develop than to try and be, I'm going to be the next viral person in this. Because then you got to have, how am I going to repeat that? If I'm always doing the viral, what is my viral? My original viral is not what everybody else is going to be doing. And I feel like when you find that, that's when you make a difference.
So.
Absolutely. Coming to trends, social media, Instagram can get exhausting, can get too much to sometimes follow the trends that you just mentioned, and sometimes would not get out what you really are and your actual voice. So if you had to maybe give about like 2 to 3 tips of how you could actually build your brand and actually communicate your original voice through social media, through Instagram, through Facebook, how would you do it?
So I would say repurpose content as often as possible.
100%.
like make it easy for yourself. And if you need to, like, the other thing that I've been doing a lot lately is when I can't come up with content, I'm like, I know what I want to say, but I don't want to spend a ton of time. Like, I've got the basic idea of what I want to say, but I don't have a ton of time. I've totally been using AI for it. So like ChatGPT and that kind of thing, to like write my content really quickly so that I'm like, okay, so I need this to be relevant to Facebook. I need this to be relevant to TikTok. I need it to be short enough to fit in an intro for our course. Like write an intro for our course using this slide, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And so I have been using AI to kind of help with that, but then repurposing content as often as possible.
I had an hour conversation with a client about 3 months ago, and she told me her situation. She's like, I'm not booking. I'm nothing's working on my business page. My Facebook ads aren't working. And I'm like, have you thought about telling your story?
Yeah.
Have you thought about sharing the photos you do on your on your business, on your personal? She's like, no. Within like an hour of that conversation, she was having 20 likes on each of her comments, on each of her posts, because she started repurposing what worked. What works will always work. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel with your connection to your client. You just have to expand the conversation on what has worked for you in the past.
Okay, so this absolutely makes sense for somebody who has made enough content to actually test out what's working for them and what is not. But let's say if there is somebody who's still starting out, maybe 1 year into the business, and just focused on putting out their work, because that's what we majorly do. We click photos, we put out our work because that's what is our best thing. We're putting our best foot forward, right? But again, that's not standing out from the competitors, or that's not doing what we would do as our original brand voice, because we're just putting out our work. This is just what we do. And if we do not have any content to repurpose, what would be your tips then? Like, where do I start now in terms of social media?
So I would just start showing up like yourself. If you don't have a whole lot to go by with like specifically what you're doing, I would show up as yourself. I would just show up. I would go live and I'd be like, okay, so I have this idea for this shoot, or I really am looking for this, these people, or this is something that I'm really passionate about creating, and just start showing up and put your face forward just as much as, because if you don't have a ton of content, if you don't have a huge portfolio, then just start building it.
Your
start putting
life
yourself out there.
is your content. The content that you want to share is the life that is the stuff that you learn and observe every day. Something that impacted you, something that changed you from the inside out. Like, sometimes, like, it's funny how easy it is to find stuff like that, but how hard it is for us to think that it's actually important. And to me, it's about revealing what's on the inside to the outside world. Like that's where it starts, because it's like if you shoot event photography or you do portrait photography, don't just post a photo. That's not significant. You need to tell a story behind what happened during that shoot, or how you got that shoot, or the conversation you had during that shoot. Like, posting a photo isn't significant enough. It needs to be an interaction. All of your posts need to become interactions. Not I call it post and pray. Don't do that. Don't do that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in any field.
Put a call to action. Like, so if you're in the middle of a shoot, then do some behind the scenes video. Do a selfie with your client. I cannot wait to see these photos. Then to post every part of the process as well. So it isn't just about, okay, I have these photos, I'm going to post it. Like, it's more about every step of the process. If you're sitting there and you're editing and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, just take a little screenshot real quick of like, I can't wait to show this this whole session to the rest of the world. Whatever it is, like I've gone through FilterPixel and I went from 1,100 photos down to 181, and that's what I'm going to show my client. Okay, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
So
it's causing people to emotionally connect to what you do. That to me is one of the most important things to do. It's like that. Yeah. We think that if we don't have any emotions, it's better to go. No, connect with the people. Talk about who you are. Yeah, that's what's important.
Exactly.
Okay. So one more question. I know this is a bit difficult to move forward to, because again, this is your comfort zone. Let's say there are people who are not really comfortable showing their face because of different reasons, right? And they do not really want to show up on their stories, but they want to have a different brand voice, and maybe their brand voice is not really coming up on stories.
Sure.
Would you have any tip for them that maybe like a small step, baby steps on where they start, and not actually just like directly showing up on their face and stories? Any other tip related to that? Yeah.
So I would say lean into your strengths.
That's it.
So for Brian, he's the creative one. He's the one that has always taken the best photos and everything like that. He is definitely the personality out of the two of us. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely am, for sure. But he's way more out there than I am. And I sometimes am not as willing to go in front of the camera. Yeah. Like once you've got me here, I'm good. I can talk, whatever.
Yeah.
But like the whole setting up to be
getting you here is the issue.
Okay. Like I do a lot of deep breaths, whatever, before I go live and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, like, I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
I love to just write. I love to just show up. And that is sometimes my strength is being able to write a story, being able to write out like, this is what's going on, or so maybe it's blogging and then sharing that on your blog. Maybe it is like using different hashtags, like whatever it is that that you're good at. That's what I would do, is I would lean into your strengths, but then let it be your personality and let that be how you're showing up.
I think one of my biggest breakthrough in just branding in general is that I stopped thinking I had to hit the bullseye with everything I was doing.
Yeah.
Perfection is a mysterious Bermuda Triangle experience.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's there, but they can't find it. So they stress themselves out thinking if they just find it, then everything's going to make sense. To me, it's more about acknowledging there's actually a target. The target is like, I know what I should be doing, and I'm going to try my best to actually acknowledge it. And the thing is, to me, it's like a bow and arrow. You shoot the bow, you just hit the target somewhere.
Yeah.
The idea is the bow. The idea is the arrow. And the thing is, it's just getting it out of your head is where you're going to be the most successful.
Yeah.
And I think that's what helps you create your posts. That's what helps you create your content. That's what helps you create your connection to your clients. All that stuff is you got to get it out.
Yeah.
You got to get it out before anyone can even know it.
Okay. Awesome. That actually helps. Of course. Okay, so I do have a last question.
Okay.
And if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'll ask them as well. But my last question would be, like you say, always give a CTA.
Yeah.
Always give something so the audience know what is the next step.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know, actually everybody here wants to know, if you can give them next 2 steps to actually just step out of the live and maybe incorporate 2 new things in their business, in their social media, in their personality, anything that can actually help them move from one point to another in a good direction, of course. So if there would be any 2 CTAs by your end, just let me know, any 2 tips that you would give.
For me, get out of your freaking head. Get out of your head, because that's where we get stuck.
Yeah.
We're like, well, it's not right, it's not perfect, I'm not ready. Those are always going to be there, regardless of you're super successful or you're not. You need to get out of your head. That is where you need to start. Stop telling yourself you're not ready. Start telling yourself that you are. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. And then I would just say, do it scared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or do it dangerously.
Yeah.
Do it dangerously.
Like if you don't,
live on the wild side.
Just continue to just do it and use props, use things that will help you. If you're sitting there and you're stuck and you're like, I need to be able to tell this story, but I don't know how, or like, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at these 4,000 pictures that I took from this session and like getting overwhelmed, using something like FilterPixel to be able to help you just make that decision, just do it.
Yeah.
Like whatever tools that you need to use, to just get yourself out of the way, I think is probably the best way to
your
do it.
imagination and your heart are the best tool that you're ever going to have.
Yeah.
And the more you sharpen those things and the more freedom you give it, the easier it is going to be to stand out. The easier it is going to create a brand. Is that you need to be okay with being vulnerable, not just with people, but with yourself. That's where branding really makes sense, and actually where it's most powerful is that you're just honest with yourself.
Exactly.
Amazing. That's really helpful. I am done with all of my questions, and so are we with the time. Because, like, as I promised everybody, I really wanted it to be a 1 hour power packed session, and we promised we would not exceed that. But we're here in case you have any questions. We're waiting. Plus, I believe Brian and Lindsey had their own few tips and some things that they needed to share. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know we been dripping it into all that we're doing, but I know we love being authentic. We love connection. We believe that the most powerful version of yourself is on the other side of what you don't know. And that's why we made this course, Showing Up Authentically, is that we believe that you can do social media differently. We believe that you can do connection differently. But it all starts with you understanding your true power and your true worth. And that's what we want to teach in this world, but also in this course, is that you are amazing. You have so much power inside of you. It's just you've locked the door. You put too many locks on that door. And the thing is, what happens if you unlock that door today? What's going to come out? Probably a very powerful version of yourself. And that's what we want to teach in this course. We want to show people how to show up authentically.
So we are offering that right now. It's going to be going up. Like, it actually went up on Friday. So we're kind of, gradually we're rolling it out. But right now it's $9.97 to join us. You get 5 modules, 5 weeks worth of modules, and you also get 5 weeks with us. And I think that's actually way more important. The modules are great. The teaching is great. Brian teaches so many different things with it. But the real thing is that one-on-one connection, or that group connection of being able to be like, hey, so how do I do this? What do I do? How do I show up?
That's a great segue, because I think this might answer some of the better answers I could have had a second ago, was that if you're struggling with how to do this and how to do that, how to connect and how to say this and how to say all these things, to me, these calls are what helps you get to that point. It's that connection that Lindsey and I are going to have with you about encouraging, loving you, and motivating you in a real place, in an authentic atmosphere. And we feel like that's where change happens, that you need support. And that's why we made this course, and that's why we're here, is that we love what you guys are doing at FilterPixel. And the thing is, it's not about automating your emotions, it's about letting them out. And the thing is, you want to save time because you want to use your energy in better places.
Exactly.
And the thing is, the stronger your voice, the more authentic it is, the more powerful it's going to connect to your clients. So we're really enjoying,
it's a lot of what we've done in the past, and the success that we've had with our one-on-one clients and everything like that is what we want to be able to bring to this course, is to be able to really help you show up in your true voice, show up authentically, find out who you are, and find out what your brand is. So that if you're like, okay, Brian Lindsey, that's great because you guys have figured this out, but what about me? That's when we can help you. That's when we can walk out there. We teach by inspiration. We don't teach by force. We don't teach by fear mongering. We teach by encouragement. We feel like that's really how we were created to learn, is that our hearts are sponges. The more you encourage someone, the more they fill up. And I feel like a business that knows its self-worth is a business that's unstoppable. Exactly.
Definitely. I mean, all of this is something all of these tips is something that you might have heard before, but actually practicing them, and sometimes you just need a person with you to actually say them out to you loud on your face, just help you go through the entire process.
Exactly.
Is just something that you need, because you might know all of these things, but actually getting to practice them is what is eye-opening and is what is the main pivot point for you. Because so that's the main thing. And of course, I've dropped down the link of Brian Lindsey's course. If you need to know anything else, you can reach out to them anytime on Facebook, even with the website link as well. They're available. I believe they're available 24/7. Whenever I text them, I get a reply back sooner than expected. So that's that. And now we can do the dare as well.
All right, awesome. Yes, we will. So we will be going on and posting that. Okay, so the thing is that we lost the FilterPixel challenge. Is that what it was?
Oh, okay.
I lost the FilterPixel editing challenge.
That's it.
So
and that's the editing review.
All right, we will do that for sure. You want me to grab a piece of paper right now, and I'll just write it out, and then we can post that?
Okay.
All right.
So we can do that. Fine too.
Okay.
I can't see it.
What you got, Brian?
It's too dark. It's too bright. We're too bright.
It's funny. Lindsey didn't completely spell filter. She's like, I love filth. I lost the filth. Anyway,
Filth.
There you go.
All right, cool. I am writing it right now, and we will post it to our stories.
Amazing. Okay. because we can't see it. That's fine.
Oh, I
Sorry.
proudly lost the filter editing. Okay.
Just add proudly there.
Yes. So there it is. You can
There you
kind
go.
of see it. Whatever.
Yeah,
So
sure.
hold it. All right, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay, I got the hiccups now.
I know.
I've been fighting them all morning.
All right.
I did it. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So this is what we do. We just kind of like randomly, like whatever. We're just our personalities. So it's awesome.
I think I've followed you guys enough to know that now.
Exactly.
That's what we do.
Okay, so you guys can go ahead and post the story. That's okay. We'll wrap up the live for now.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for being
Yeah,
a part of
thanks,
this. I'm really, really happy to be doing the first episode with you.
you.
I loved it. Thank you so much.
Great. It's very interesting to know. And I believe it was really helpful for everybody who joined it
Mhm.
and for everybody who's watching the recording too. So thank you so much for being a part of this. And thank you so much for doing what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
All
I
right.
got the hiccups.
All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All
We
right.
appreciate it.
Bye. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yep.
All right. So good.
Alright. Okay, so thanks to Brian Lindsey. I just wanted to end here and let you all know that we'll be doing the Pixel Power Hour every Monday around the same time, so that you have different topics from the photography industry and get to learn different things. So don't forget to tune in next Monday as well, as we have different topics planned for you. Okay, bye bye.